Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Thursday, July the 25th. And welcome to our commentary. Just a heads up, we recorded earlier today. It's available in the podcast. You can also see it on X. I keep saying Twitter, but it's X. Forgive me for messing it up. But I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, by the way. I'm delighted that Elon Musk bought X because I think he's done the country a great service. But anyway, we recorded what we call the Week in Review with my friend Bill Katz, who is the editor of Urgent Agenda. We do this once a week with Bill. And we talked a lot about the speech that President Biden had last night, and also the the premier, no, the prime minister, I'm sorry, the prime minister of Israel. We spoke a little bit too about those demonstrations and burning flag and all of that despicable act. So we talked about all of that, and obviously we went into length. Also, a little bit about Kamala Harris and the campaign. So it's available on X. It's also available on Blog. Well, it's not available on Blog Talk Radio, but I usually upload the audio later as well on Blog Talk Radio. But of course, it's here as well. But yes, there was a speech last night that President Biden gave. And honestly, I was completely disappointed by the speech. I thought it would be totally different. I thought that finally we would hear a speech from this man that did not threaten us with the end of democracy or garbage like that. And I just, I just found myself very disappointed because it was nothing but a political speech. And it was actually, in many ways, if you really look into it, I agree, by the way, with Britt Hume, who said this. Britt Hume said that this speech sounded a lot like the speech he would have given in Chicago to accept the nomination. And I think that's right. That's right. That's what that was. That was Joe Biden being very unhappy. He was not happy having to give this speech. That was not a speech that he wanted to give. But obviously something happened on the weekend that he got to give that speech and pass the baton to Kamala Harris, something he didn't want to do, but he was forced to do it. The speech itself was very automatic, very robotic, if that's the right word. There didn't seem to be any emotion in it. And I think he was just reading whatever they put in front of him. And that's what it was, as far as I'm concerned. There wasn't any real feeling to it. And I think he wasted an opportunity to leave, office. He'll leave in 6 months, of course. But this is the last major speech that he'll give, unless something happens that we don't want to happen. But anyway, the last speech of his career, and he could have given so much better speech. He could have, for example, said that he really wants the country to come together. He could have been more honest, honestly, about his medical situation. I mean, you don't have to be a doctor or psychiatrist to realize that this man has problems. Whether the problems are enough to activate the 25th Amendment, I guess that's a debate we can have. But he's clearly not suited for a campaign or to run for re-election. I mean, this is not a man who would survive the next 4 years in the White House. So it was a good thing that he left. He should have left. Actually, he should have left a year ago and given the Democrat Party an opportunity to replace him in a more honest way. So this could have been a totally different speech. But again, it turned out to be a very political speech, one that I don't think endeared him to at least half of the country. I think, half of the country where I live or where I live politically saw the speech for what it was. It was a wasted opportunity to bring us together. And that's what it was. So I don't have a lot of excitement about the speech. I don't think it was a great speech. And I think that, we will now move on. And I pray that nothing happens over the next 6 months where this gentleman has to get up in the morning or make a very quick decision. He's not ready for that. And I just hope that the next 6 months that our adversaries do not try to take advantage of us. One of the things that I fear is that our adversaries, anticipating the return of Donald Trump, may want to make the first move. And I'm really worried about Iran. I'm not so much worried about Putin. Putin's a problem, but I think Putin is smart enough to know that if he goes beyond Ukraine, he's going to be involved in a war that he doesn't want to fight. And in a sort of similar way, I think China knows that if they get into Taiwan, that they're going to have problems that they probably don't want to have. I'm not saying they don't want to do it, but I think they're not. I'm not afraid of them doing it anytime soon. But I am worried about Iran because I think Iran is a country that wants to create problems. I think Iran knows that if Trump returns to the White House, that he is going to be very tough on them. And if they're going to act, I think that they're going to do it in the next 6 months. So that's what worries me, that one of our adversaries decides to use this time over the next 6 months to act, knowing that Trump is coming back. And when Trump comes back, the rules of the game are going to be totally different. I mean, they know that they're going to be dealing with a totally different man when Trump walks into the Oval Office. So that's my hope, that nothing happens, that nobody makes a stupid move, because it could be very costly for the United States right now. So we'll see. I really hope that nothing happens over the next few months. We talked a little bit, Bill Katz and I talked a little bit about the impact of Kamala Harris on the campaign. I think it's a little bit too early to jump to a lot of conclusions on polls, but the ones that we're seeing early, I understand they're early, but the ones that we're seeing are not changing the race dramatically. Also, it really comes down to the so-called, states, the so-called, 5 or 6 states, what do they call, where they're going to settle the election, battleground states. I couldn't remember that. Battleground states. It's going to come down to that. And I don't think we have numbers in any of those states. But clearly, Trump was winning the last time around. And I don't know how much Harris can change any of that. They're talking about a VP for Kamala Harris. Shapiro in Pennsylvania, he would help in Pennsylvania. But Shapiro is also, I wrote a post about this, Shapiro is also very pro-Israel. And the party may not be ready for somebody like that as vice president. Then you go to Arizona, Mark Kelly. He would be good. But again, I'm not sure he could deliver Arizona, because that's going to be a tough situation because of the immigration. Also, Mark Kelly is not exactly a very exciting candidate. I mean, I'm just telling you, I've seen him speak. He's not a very exciting candidate. Some of the others that I've heard of, the fellow from North Carolina, Cooper, that he would be good. He would be an older man for Kamala, kind of like when Obama selected Joe Biden, something like that. He could help. He could help in North Carolina. Bashar in Kentucky wouldn't help her at all, because Trump is going to win Kentucky by 20 points. So Bashar wouldn't even be able to deliver Kentucky to the ticket. So those are the 4 that I think are being considered. I mean, they all have plus and minuses. But I think at the end of the day, she may just go and consolidate her base and maybe go after the Secretary of Transportation or maybe the governor of Maryland and just try to consolidate her base to make sure she gets the maximum African-American vote and the maximum liberal female vote. So again, it's all up in the air. I'm just basically reacting to what I'm reading. But, she's got some good choices. She's got some good choices that could help the ticket. There's no question about that. No question about that. I also think it's important for President Trump at the earliest opportunity to have a debate with Kamala Harris. Those two need to debate. They need to get on the screen together because you need to define Kamala Harris as soon as possible. And you need to force her to answer questions. And a debate would certainly be the best opportunity to do that. I know they're supposed to have one in September, but that was with Biden. That was going to be the follow-up to the June 27th debate. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But they should have a debate. I think Kamala Harris and President Trump should have a debate. Now, I don't know if you can have a debate before she's officially nominated. I don't know if the rules uh, make it impossible. I don't know. But I think a debate would do the country good. And I think it would do Trump good because he would do well in the debate. So I'm in favor of a debate as soon as possible. Thank you for listening. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas.